Victor Wembanyama is going to be an NBA disappointment. The recent first overall draft pick to the San Antonio Spurs has been heralded by NBA media as a future top 10 all-time player. But those are unrealistic expectations that not only will he not achieve, but he cannot achieve them. Victor Wembanyama comes into the league immediately as the tallest player in the NBA at 7'5". But although he is a talented player with a wide variety of skills, including three-point shooting, blocking, and dribbling, Victor Wembanyama will not be able to put all those skills together to become an all-time great. And here's why. He's too big. In the current NBA, there are only two other players that are even 7'3" or taller, being Kristaps Porzingis and Boban Marjanovic. But even with those two players, we see the two clear problems with guys over 7'3" playing in the NBA. The first problem is outlined clearly through Boban, because you only see him playing about 4 minutes a night on a crappy Rockets team. Boban is too big to be able to make the plays that the other players in the NBA can make. Although he's 7'4" and the biggest guy on the court, he's not able to dominate people because defensively, they can just double him and he can't really do anything because he is not physical enough and not quick enough to make plays. And offensively, they can blow right by him because he's too slow. Now, this is probably not a problem that Victor Wembanyama is going to have because he's a lot better physically than Boban and he's a lot quicker than Boban. However, the problem illustrated by Kristaps Porzingis is a problem that could affect Victor Wembanyama's career. Kristaps Porzingis is injury prone. He's only been able to complete most of the games in 2 of his 6 seasons so far in the NBA. And he's 2 inches shorter than Victor Wembanyama. However, Victor Wembanyama is a unique prospect in the NBA. In order to have an even decent comparison between him, we have to go back 40 years in history just to find somebody who's a similar player to him. In 1983, Ralph Sampson was being heralded as a generational talent and future top 10 player in the NBA history. He was a 7'4" player coming out of Virginia, 3-time National College Player of the Year, and he was expected to revolutionize the center position as well as the 80s NBA. In 1983, he was drafted first overall by the Houston Rockets, and he was expected to have a long, healthy, and prolific career in the NBA. However, that was not the case. And by 1993, he was out of the league altogether. What happened to Ralph Sampson? Ralph Sampson was drafted in 1983 by the Houston Rockets first overall. However, that was not able to turn the fortunes of the franchise immediately. And in 1984, they managed to get the first overall pick again and drafted Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, since Hakeem was also a center, they moved Ralph Sampson to power forward and became the biggest power forward of all time in the NBA. Now, he could move, he could dribble, he could block. He was a lot like Victor Wembanyama in the way that he played. And Ralph Sampson was good immediately. In his first 4 seasons, he became an all-star every single year. And in 1986, Olajuwon and Sampson's Rockets managed to put it all together and beat Magic Johnson's Showtime Lakers in the Western Conference Final. However, they were defeated in the 1986 NBA Finals by Larry Bird's Celtics dynasty. However, the future was bright. They had 2 young stars with Olajuwon and Sampson, and they looked poised to win multiple NBA titles in the future, which they did in 94 and 95. However, Ralph Sampson was not a part of those teams. While Olajuwon was leading the Houston Rockets to NBA titles, Ralph Sampson was sitting on the couch because he had been forced to retire early with injuries. He was a 4-time All-Star in his first 4 years in the league. However, he never made it back. In 1987, he suffered the first of a long string of injuries that ultimately had him traded from the Rockets in 88 and out of the league by 92. Although he was a special talent and a great player, he wasn't able to put it all together because he was too big to withstand the amount of physical burden that is put on players in the NBA for more than 5 or 6 years. And the same thing is going to happen to Victor Wembanyama.